Up everyone, it is your girl JL Beauty 87 here, aka Grace, and today I figured we'd get into the most unique palettes in my eyeshadow palette collection. So y'all know I love me a good eyeshadow palette. I live for eyeshadow palette moment, but these are some of the color stories I feel like I rarely if ever come across from other brands, so I thought I'd point them out and show you like what I like about them and why I feel like they're so unique and why they made it into my collection, because they were so unique compared to everything else that's on the market. And y'all know it's hard to find unique stuff on the market, I feel, nowadays. So when you find some, be glad. A couple of them are YouTuber collabs. A couple of them are just regular palettes. So I'm gonna start off with the one from the late great Mel Thompson. This is the Tiny Marvels palette with Mel Thompson and Sydney Grace Co. Or it's just Sydney Grace. But this is what it looks like on the inside. I feel like Mel did such a beautiful job, and it's such a unique color story. I feel like you don't usually see pops of like pastel and purple mixed with greens like this, and then some nice cool tone grungy shades, because I feel like it's not really warm toned. I really love this palette, and it's one of my favorites. I try to hoard it and not use it often though, because it's like I don't know how long Sydney Grace is going to keep selling it, and I want other people to have an opportunity to buy it instead of me just like buying it and hoarding it to have a backup of Mel. So it's like I rarely use it, but it's not because I don't love it. It's because to me it's like a memorial and a tribute to, you know, like old school YouTube and one of my favorite YouTubers who has since gone on. So I forgot to start off with that sentimental one, but this is one of my most unique palettes in my collection, and I do really love it. The next brand I have to talk about is Odins Eyes. So the Norns palette. This was the first palette I truly was like, oh, okay, this is Brown Girlfriend, and I absolutely love it. Some of their other palettes, I mean, they were fine, but they were like a lot toward mid-tone in my personal opinion. This was the first one I was like, ooh, okay, these dark, cool, grungy colors that are unique and fun and work for me. And it came out the perfect time too, because if I remember correctly, this came around close to the fall, so I was like, it just came out and was giving everything. And I love the color story in this. I feel like this is such a unique piece to have in your collection, because you have these fun, bright, multi-shifting, super shimmery, colorful shimmers to put on the lid, and then you have like some unique tones of mattes to put on, and you still have some satiny like shifty shades like this one right here, Pink Chameleon. I feel like it's just a beautiful combination of shades. Believe it or not, I have ever actually used this marble shade called Amber Palace, but I feel like it's because of the tone of it. Like if I feel like I had to do a rushed look to get out the door quick and I was using this palette, I could use that, use this shade all over the lid, and maybe put like this in the crease or something, I don't know, or maybe put that in the inner corner, put this on the lid. But overall, I love this palette, and this is one of my favorite palettes to reach for towards fall, because I think it's such a unique and fun color story to have in my collection. So I'm glad I have it, and it is one of my favorite unique palettes to play. So the next one, y'all know I had to shout me out, a black owned brand, so I got the Juvia's Place, the Dulce palette. I feel like Juvia's Place does a lot of unique color stories. I feel like I could just do a video on the unique color stories that I've had from them in the past all together if you want, but I figured I would just pick this palette. Now this one is discontinued, so I'm going and looking for it. I heard it was discontinued, you know, making it more, but every once in a while they like pop out and bring out a few of a discontinued palette, like the Tribe palette. Y'all know I love that palette. It's one of my all-time favorite Juvia's Place palettes. But I like this one too because it has a unique color story. Like I wouldn't have thought to pair any of these colors together, but when I look at them as each rose, it makes sense. Like you have your nice peachy, coralish, warmish type shades. You have your bright, fun pop of color with still like twist on a smoky eye, because you can have a pink smoky eye with this section here, and then you have a twist on a nice neutral eye, because you can put this on your outer V and put this on your lid and like dust this to airbrush everything over. So this is a unique palette to me in that sense. When I look at it like down the rows, if you just look at it as a whole, to me it doesn't make any sense, but when I look at it each row as an eye look, it makes more sense to me. And it's definitely unique in its own right, because I haven't seen anybody else put colors like this together, so I had to give it to Juvia's Place. I had to do it one time for the one time for the one time. I'm sorry, I know they in hot water with some people, and I respect that just fine, but like, you know, that is one of the most unique palettes in my collection, and I just had to shout it out. Next I have Meet Me at Midnight from Lois Cosmetics. I tried to find dupes in my collection to show y'all on my Instagram story, and if y'all notice, none of the palettes looked exactly like this, so I would definitely have to say this is a unique color story to my collection. Again, if you look at everything like just a row of an eyeshadow look, then it makes sense. Like to me, this looks like a row of eyeshadows, and this looks like a row of eyeshadows, and this looks like a row of eyeshadows. The only one that doesn't look like it's a row that I should do as eyeshadows is like this one right here. To me, I don't necessarily see that, but you know, like, I guess it could work because this is your outer V shade and you put these two on the lid and then you put that in the inner corner, so I guess it makes sense. But sometimes I just have to look at palettes in rows in order to be able to be inspired. I can't just look at the colors all around and like come up with an eye look. But you know, I still say it's definitely unique. The fact that I couldn't find anything else in my collection that was similar to it said a lot to me. And I tried to think about that when I was pulling these palettes. Like, can I find other stuff in my collection that looks like this? And with this palette, I know I couldn't easily. So that's why I made sure I put it in here. The last two brands I have one YouTuber collab with each one, and then just palettes from the brand itself, because the brand has such unique color stories, in my personal opinion anyway. So I'm gonna start off with Alien Cosmetics. Now Unearthly Cosmetics. Now they don't have this palette anymore. This is the Smells Like Holiday Spirit palette. They had this for 50% off for a while. I asked her if they wanted me to put it in the 1000K Instagram giveaway, and nobody responded, so I didn't worry about putting it in there. I didn't buy one. I wanted to get one for you all though, because to me this is such a unique color story, and I really like this palette. I like the unique colors that she put in here, because this doesn't look like a traditional Christmas palette. I've done like 2 or 3 looks with this palette. I've done palette matches with this and other palettes. I've used this palette on its own about 2 or 3 times. I really just like this palette and this unique color story that goes along with it. I still need to use like the gray and like maybe these shades right here to do something with, but it's like overall I feel like this is such a unique and fun color story that I'm happy to have it in my collection. I know my girl Karen Harris decluttered hers, but I really like it and I'm happy to have it in my collection. So it's one of my most unique palettes and I felt the need to share. The next one I have is the Unearthly Cosmetics in Capricorn. Now, I wasn't sure who Capricorn was, but I would definitely say this is a twist on a traditional like rainbow palette. Because the first one I looked at, I was like, this is just like a rainbow palette with different tones of the rainbow in it. But it's not necessarily that, and it is definitely unique to my collection, because I can guarantee I don't have any other palettes that like have a color story like this. Now with this one, it wasn't easy for me to come up with the eye look either, but again, keep telling y'all, the trick is to look at the palette in like it's a quad or like it's a 3 pan palette, like the little baby Natasha Denona ones, and then maybe you come up with better eye look. Because like when I look at it like that, I see this as eye look and I see this as eye look. I see all of them as eye looks individually, looking at it like that. But if I just look at the palette as a whole, it's like it makes no sense to me. So I have to look at palettes with unique color stories in that regard in order to come up with eye looks. So that's just a trick for you if you struggle with picking colorful eye looks or making unique eye looks with colorful palettes like this. That's my trick. But yeah, I really like this palette. They don't have this one on their site anymore though, unfortunately. So I'm sorry, both of them I showed you don't have anymore, but I'm sure she'll come up with some more unique color stories over the summer and over the rest of the year and during the holidays. So you can stay tuned for that, or you might be able to find those on Bakerie. I'm not sure. I don't think I've seen too much on Unearthly Cosmetics on Bakerie, but I mean, you can try your luck and check. Next I have the Creepy Cute collection from Shroud Cosmetics. So Creepy Cute and Creepy Cute 2. I recently did a video on Creepy Cute 2. I'll try to remember to link it up above. But this is what it looks like. To me, again, this just seems like a unique version of a bright one of the pastelish rainbow palette with a twist. I feel like it's a rainbow palette with a twist, and that's what I appreciated about it, because all the undertones in these are kind of different and unique, and it's giving more pastelish type vibes. And I love me a good pastel moment, especially when they actually show up on me with a white base and packing it on and then blending it out. I feel like it's the best way to do pastels if you're my skin tone, or just in general to get the best pigmentation out where it doesn't look so, well, for lack of a better word, pastel-y and kind of whitish chalky. It brings out more brightness to the color. You should use a white base. That's just my personal opinion, and that's what I do, but you know, do as you please. But yeah, I really like the color story of this one. I actually like the color story of the second one better than I do the first one. Not that the first one is bad, it's just more, I feel like, because these are so light, and then has this random black and this random gray to go with these like bright colors, I wasn't necessarily as excited or intrigued by this one. But I feel like this is a great companion palette to go with the second one, and I feel like that was the idea behind it. So both of these together to me are a match made in heaven, and I'm so glad I have both of them. And they are definitely unique palettes to my collection, because I don't have any other pastel palette that has this type of uniqueness going on, other than the Pastel Goth, and I got rid of that like years upon years ago. And of course, last but not least, we're gonna end it off with Betty Jean's and Shroud Cosmetics It's Freaking Bats palette. So this is definitely a unique palette to my collection, but I'm here for it and love it. I love all the colors she chose in it. I feel like these are gorgeous tones. These are shades I like to use a lot. Y'all know I live for this shade right here as often as I possibly can. I also live for shades like this. I usually use matte or shimmer shades like that. or matte or shimmer shades like this. I like greens like this. I like these transforming bluish purple shades. So blue, greens, and purples are mainly my thing, which I feel like is why I love this palette so much in particular, because she gave you that dark outer V shade. She still gave you some of those fun shades that I like to use a lot, which are like turquoises and purple or blurplish type shades. And then you got some fun shimmers to match up with those along with your darkening up shade. So I think she did an excellent job with this palette, and I am so glad to have it in my collection, and I'm glad to share with you all as one of the most unique palettes in my collection. So those are some of the unique palettes I have in my collection. If you want me to do a volume 2, we can go ahead and do that, because of course y'all know me, since I have so many palettes, I'm sure I have more unique palettes in my collection that I just didn't think about initially. I just grabbed the first like 5, 6, close to 10 palettes I could. But at first I was gonna try to make it a 10. I was like, no, just grab the ones that you see off the top of the bat that you think about, and that's what I did. So if you want to see more of this, let me know down below, and we can do some more, because since I love color and unique color stories and palettes, I try to get lots of palettes that have unique color stories. And although some of them seem to be palette mashup, main chick side chick situations a lot, I still feel like I have a few left in me that I can show to add to this video if you're interested. So let me know down below if you were interested and this was helpful to you, or if you liked seeing this. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye.